Japan's prime minister felt he had no choice but to authorize the deliberate release of radioactivity.
全員がこれはもうベントをやらざるを得ないと、やりましょうということで、じゃあ分かりました、やってくださいと、こう言ったわけです。
But there was something TEPCO wasn't telling the prime minister. The company had never imagined they might have to vent a reactor without electricity. They didn't know how to do it.
The venting valves are driven by motors. So without electricity, they won't open. It's possible to open them manually, but really difficult.
In the darkness of the Reactor 1 control room, the workers pored over blueprints to try to work out how to open the vents. The handwritten plant logs show that radiation levels were now rising.
To see those kinds of numbers would normally be unthinkable. And this isn't inside the reactor itself, it's in the office. It was a disaster.
The engineers suspected something that the Prime Minister and TEPCO would not acknowledge for months. Nuclear meltdown had begun.
I realized that the fuel had started to melt. We got our masks and put them by our feet, so we could escape at any time.
Back in Tokyo, 6 hours after the order to vent the reactors, there was still no news from the plant. The Prime Minister began to suspect that TEPCO was hiding the truth. He decided to go to Fukushima Daiichi himself. He was later criticized for interfering with the emergency work at the plant, but he says he had to find out what was really going on.
全員がやるべきだと、弁当をやるべきだと言いながら、なぜ弁当が進まないのか、理由が説明できないわけですね。でそれは東電本店が間に入ってるものですから、理由が、伝言ゲームで伝わってこないわけです。
At Fukushima Daiichi, the Prime Minister met directly with the TEPCO engineers. He insisted they vent the reactors.
Khan was very angry. The government had given an order. What was TEPCO doing? But we were trying our best. The valves were hard to open. We were genuinely trying. We just hadn't managed it.
The plant manager, Masao Yoshida, was known for being frank. He knew the radiation near the vents was at potentially fatal levels, but he told the Prime Minister he'd send in a suicide squad if necessary.
わかりましたと、図面を出してこうやってやりますと言ってました。
The Prime Minister knew his orders might condemn the men who went into the reactor to death, but he felt Japan's future was at stake.
私としては大変重い決断ではありました。しかしそうすべきだと思ってそうしました。